Welcome, everybody. This is the Richmond Gooners podcast. We are recording at Gus's Bar and Grill in a lovely Richmond, Virginia. Not as chilly as it's been lately today. Saturday, February 6th, match day 22, away at Villa Park. I am here with Tom.
Right now.
And with Joey. And Joey has pretty much summed up where we are with our lives at the moment. So, that was the thing that happened, but let's kind of go back to where we started the day. Open the day, sitting in 10th place, kind of hanging on, top half of the table, which, we've talked about it a couple times. It's not where we want to be, but it's where we are. And
we had a chance to move up a bit.
We could have moved up a bit, and ultimately we didn't. But, looking at the lineup before the game, the only thing for me that is, that we really need to talk about is the goalkeeper situation.
Right.
Yeah. We were all, I think, happy to see Matt. Only American footballers need two T's in their name. Ryan starting after Runderson's display the last time he was out. But for me,
that's the real Matt. The Americans are Matt Tata.
Yeah, Matt Tata. The extra T is for twat. But yeah, I mean, for me, looking at Runderson's got to be just done now, right? Because you look at his week where first he's left out of the Europa League squad. Yeah. And you figure, all right, that's because Leno's going to play because he's not suspended in that, so fine. And then Arteta comes out and says, I have got no problem playing Runderson in the Premier League. And then Ryan is declared fit, yesterday? Mm-hmm. And is immediately elevated to starting keeper, and Runderson is thrown on the bench like an old dusty-ass seat cushion. His confidence has to be wrecked.
I'd seen something that basically said that he was bought actually to be the third choice keeper. So almost essentially it was bought to kind of replace Macy. Yeah. In that, so
Arteta said that Macy, Arteta said that he came to Arsenal with the understanding that he would be third choice.
Third choice, yeah.
He is a body. We all know the pedigree. He came from a very, very low league. Sorry, not league. He came from League One, but not a very well
league
established. Yeah, yes. and he came in because our goalkeeping coach had worked with him before, so he's a body, and we probably thought there's no chance he's ever going to play for us.
Right.
And then when he came in, obviously he had that absolute disaster against Man City. The Mahrez goal is embarrassing.
Then Leno gets a red card and he has to come in.
Although last week, the one thing I'll give him, he had some good saves.
He made some good saves, yeah.
And that last ditch effort when he was they shouted at him you have to put in the ball. That final ball that he put in the box,
that was a decent ball.
I was like, man, that's
quite a good ball.
That is Kevin De Bruyne couldn't serve up a better ball than that.
Yeah.
And so I take your point, but yeah, it had to be Matt Ryan. If they had to do some Mr. Miyagi stuff to get his body ready, inject him with whatever you need to get him going. Because if Runderson had been out there, I would have been drinking more than I am right now.
And I don't disagree that I think that was absolutely the right call that was to be made. I just look at it as, given just the almost the comedy of disasters that happened this week. Whether he came in knowing he's going to be third choice or not, what does that do to a dude's confidence going forward to be like, oh yeah, we're cool with you. Nah, never mind. This dude's healthy. You can go sit.
Yeah, I think all of that is, he has to know he's a stopgap.
Yeah.
He has. Yeah. If he's still an Arsenal player in 2022, I will be really surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even, at this point, you're right. I'm not even looking at, his future with us. I just hope that this dude is not just a basket case going forward.
Yeah.
And, I'm not saying that we should have done anything differently because of it. It's just one of those things about, the second I saw, kind of the sequence, man, sucks to be that guy today.
Yeah.
On the flip side, Matt Ryan, he is a huge
He's
part
our best player today.
Yes, and he was a huge part of why Brighton are where they are.
Yeah.
So when we got him, I was like, wait a second now, because when last year, I remember he played for them, and he's good. Mm-hmm. And he's one of those just perennial keepers that, they'll allow 3 goals against Burnley. When they play Arsenal, they turn into Gianluigi Buffon 2006 World Cup Finals. And he's a good keeper, but the Brighton manager just somehow lost confidence in him, obviously.
Yeah.
Words are one thing, but actions are another. And so when we got him, I was like, wait a minute, that's the guy that, when they got promoted, he was the guy for them. So for us to have him now and to accept his role as backup, and I know it's only a temporary deal, but if he feels comfortable and we're comfortable,
I'm happy to keep him.
Yeah.
Based on what I've seen today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
happy. And what I've seen of him before at playing for
even that first goal, I told somebody that okay, Leno would have saved that, but realistically, that first goal, would Leno save that? Who knows?
No, that
it
first goal,
was a deflection. So
it was there, and I guess
it was so fluky.
Yeah, let's just start running
the
the game
first and
down
only
at that
goal.
point.
We lost 1-0,
Yeah.
so that goal was what won them the game.
Yeah, and like you look at what led to that goal, and Cedric with the most boneheaded back pass you've ever seen.
Yeah, that was terrible.
I mean, Gabriel makes a great gather to get that ball down out of the air, and Cedric immediately kicks it behind Gabriel towards our goal and makes him run to collect it, and he can't. And then the shot goes through. Rob Holding does what he's supposed to do. He tries to block it, and it just deflects funky. Like, if it wasn't for the deflection, I think Ryan was actually in position to get that.
He would have saved it.
And it was one of those things where it was just like the smallest. It wasn't a big enough deflection to send it away, and it was small enough just to screw us over. Like, I don't put that on Ryan at all.
It makes you wonder, top 5 worst back passes in Arsenal history.
I mean, other than the one that Mustafi put straight into the goal.
Eboué had a bad
Yeah.
one. And I remember Champions League when Ryan Babel, of all people, Ryan Babel got a goal off of a bad back
I
pass.
haven't heard that name in years.
And you know what's so bad is the house I used to live in, 1124 West Avenue, Richmond, Virginia, probably still has a print in the wall from where I threw a phone into the wall from the Ryan Babel goal.
The new owners of 1124 West Avenue.
Right,
Are
like,
what's this crazy?
You don't have a ghost, and no one was ever murdered in there.
Why does it say Nokia on my living room wall?
And like, yeah, hopefully, like, they say that, you know, this
That
house
was a
has
good
energy.
time-specific reference because Ryan Babel is ancient now.
And he still plays. I
He
want
does
to say
still play, yeah.
he's in like the Turkish league or something.
Yeah.
Like
That's where everyone goes to die. Come on, bro.
Or
Teddy
the
Sheringham is
Saudi
probably still
Super
playing
League or whatever.
Yeah, Super
Or China,
League.
Yeah,
Yes.
Super League.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, that whole goal, I mean, just so many things went wrong. And, you know, ultimately, I think, honestly, they did deserve to win this game. But
See, I disagree.
Like,
I disagree.
I don't know about that.
I don't know
about that.
I mean,
This ain't it, Chief.
I feel like we never
Joey, hold
really
my headphones.
we never really put it together to the point where we had like a very well, you know, thought out attack. That
strategy, yeah.
It just, I mean, we had chances and we had the ball in good places at times, but like we did not look like the more put together team today. I don't think.
I thought Villa was more organized in general, but I thought we had some really good transitional play.
Yeah,
right.
Getting the ball from defense to attack, and you know my thing, Granit Xhaka is a large part of that, and I thought he played really well today.
He had some final balls.
that were excellent.
3 of them.
Excellent.
That is his thing. He has this first touch. You can tell he's looking at the man making
Yeah.
the move, and he plays this perfect.
He pushes it and weights it.
Yes,
and puts the proper weight on it.
And this is the first year that I've seen him do that all the time.
all the time, yeah. And I think we put together some very good 5-6 pass transitional play. It just was, you know, we put together 5 or 6, and then the last one that we need to actually break the guy, whether it's Saka or Lacazette or Xhaka or somebody
For
else.
me,
that
my problem is what you just described. That's how we could win the game. 2 ways: transition ball, run at him, because Villa was running at us.
They were running at
it was
us,
a wide open game,
and they were organized. I'm not saying that they weren't, because they were organized, but
So I was like-
I thought we looked more threatening attacking wise, even though we didn't score any goals and they scored
'Cause
one.
if they
Their
wanted
goal
to-
was a fluke.
If they wanted to run at us, I was like, run at us, because this is what we want. If you
Then
want
we got
to,
Holdinho looking like friggin'
Hans Beckenbauer, yeah.
looking like Beckenbauer, yeah.
If you want to beat Arsenal, it's a simple method. You just sit back. You play Mourinho ball. And they
Like
started to
Maldini.
do that from the 60th minute. I was like, you know, okay, now they've barricaded. They're going to win. But if they had continued pressing and just, we were going to take them, because Pepe, Aubameyang, that's how they score goals. Counterattacking. If they want to keep it flowing, any team out there, if they want to keep it flowing, we'll go toe-to-toe with anyone in England.
Yeah.
But unfortunately,
They want to play a wide open game. That's what kind of suits us, and we had some opportunities to do that today. It just didn't quite come together with the last.
I
ball.
think we do best. We pass the ball. We keep it on the ground. I think where we don't do well is what we tried in the first part of the season. Is we try to lump it in.
Yeah,
and you know
it's just not.
And I
cross and pray. Cross and pray is not our game.
And I said it 3 times a day.
I don't think you got the facilities for that, big man. We don't have the personnel to really play that
Olivier
game.
Giroud is not
we don't
here
have
anymore.
Giroud anymore. We don't have
Yeah.
prime Andy Carroll or somebody like that. Or
if
Peter
you're
Crouch
gonna lump it in, they've got Tyrone Mings.
Yeah.
You know, that's bread and butter to
who
him.
I would love to see at Arsenal.
Yeah.
He's a player.
He plays well for Villa.
Yeah.
He plays well for England.
Yep.
He was stellar
He's
today.
a leader of men. You know,
Well-
he's pretty much everything you want.
Well, then so let me rephrase it. Then
It was a uckus.
I don't feel like that was an unjust win for Villa. But I do feel that it's shitty that is the way the one goal happened.
If we play them 4 more times, this is one of my favorite things to say about sports in general. If we play them 4 more times, I say we take 3 out of 4.
I think we take 3 as well.
Because
I'd say 2.
We might lose the one. We might lose the one instead of drawing.
Because we got the guy that
This is the one.
he wears toddler size shin pads and he's got his Judd Nelson Breakfast Club haircut. And
Jack Grealish, he wears the Karen haircut.
Well, to me, he looks like Judd Nelson in Breakfast Club.
From where I come from, that haircut's called "I Have Black Children."
I mean, it's also the young Indiana
I'm not
Jones
racist,
I'm black, so I can say that.
in Last Crusade. It's River Phoenix, as you called out, Tom.
Yeah,
during the game.
he looked like River Phoenix in that scene where he falls from the top of the train into the car.
Yeah, with the snakes. Yeah.
And also, my favorite moment of the day was when I think it was Bukayo put a ball right in his mush, and his hair flew out. He looked like
His hair. Oh
he
my
looked like
God.
a troll doll.
Yeah.
Somebody,
Especially in
if
slow-mo.
If there's anybody listening, if you could get me a GIF, whatever we're supposed to, how we're supposed to say, it looked like a troll doll, and I was like, I bet he did that on purpose, man, right in the face.
Yeah, I mean, he's not like Lamella punchable.
Yes, in the face.
but he's up there
Yeah, Lamella is maybe the most punchable face in the entire league.
on the planet. But
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, you go from there, and things kind of started to take a little more shape. It was, that beginning was crazy, but then like that play in the 18th minute where Lacazette is just charging up the middle and he's taking space, which we always yell for people to do, and then all of a sudden he gets closed down on, and Pepe is wide open to his left, and
he's just running in so
he's just
much
running
space.
and running, and then all of a sudden passes it off to the right to nobody, and it ends up getting picked off, and like. I feel like Pepe he had a really great game overall today too.
Days.
He is on form right now.
And there were times where I'm not saying this is a knock on him, but like he is running and just charging down the side, and no one is seeing him, and he's not like going nuts with the front, but he's frustrated.
And who would have known the way that you get him? I mean, to me, it's always been Pepe has to be running and receiving, and I hate to use an Americanism, but he's not a half-court offense kind of guy. He's a full-court offense.
yeah,
Right?
he's a transition guy.
He needs a ball in transition, but handed to Arteta, whoever designed it, to say, put him on the right.
Yeah.
Put him on the left. Put him where he normally isn't. And he twice today almost did what he did against Wolves he murdered that boy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's that song by Baby? I'll remember like an hour from now when it doesn't matter. But
Like Baby from the Big Tires?
No,
rap?
Baby, the rapper. Yeah, like
Yeah. from the Big Tires. Yeah.
what happened
That's
to
Baby.
that boy?
Yeah.
What happened to that boy? Yeah, we
he
put
did.
a clap into that boy.
Yeah.
And he murdered that the right back for Wolves. And then today, you heard me yelling. I was like, do him. And he did it. Like he was dribbling at people. He can, and also he
didn't
shot.
do the thing though. I was like, I kept yelling. Hey, could you hear me?
Yeah,
I kept
do
yelling,
the
do the
thing.
thing,
Yeah.
do the thing. The thing
Yeah.
is like
And
what I
he-
call the black Aryan Robin. Just fucking, give him the move, cut in, and just whip that bitch because he's got an amazing left foot.
Because one of
you know?
one of the biggest criticisms, and one of them is he's one-footed. But last week,
He scored a right-footed goal last week.
yes, and today,
real good
Today
one.
he almost got one.
Yeah.
he got twice. He hit it real hard,
Yeah.
real
Yeah.
hard. And I guarantee
He's two-footed.
Yeah,
He's two-footed.
Here's
And that's why at first I was like, I don't think he should play on the left, but now I think he should play on the left, and Saka should play more on the right because he's actually more two-footed than Saka.
I have a question for y'all.
Yes.
Is Pepe a winger or is he a forward?
I think naturally he might be like an inside forward.
Because I feel like when he gets the ball, he has an eye for goal. Like
Yeah.
he is. Because a lot of us are just. We've been watching Wenger
It's
ball
not
for-
necessarily about crossing. I think one thing that you associate with wingers is like
Putting the ball
an
in.
elite ability to cross the ball. You know.
Yeah.
And it's just. That is not necessarily him.
No, 'cause
He's-
his move
he's
is
like
to
an
dribble
inside
and
forward
get in position
or
to shoot.
inverted winger. So like a Gareth Bale, a left-footed, right-sided player.
You talk about
but I think
somebody that
he's
fell
got
the
more
fuck
joy
off.
Yeah.
on the
Gareth
on the left.
Bale, Jesus, the safest place in the world is between him and the goal mouth.
Gareth Bale.
Right
Oh my-
now.
Oh my days! Yeah, when they put
Did
him
he
in,
score a goal last week or 2 weeks ago?
I don't know,
I
but
don't think
He's not getting that much playing time.
Can I? Yeah,
He did score. He definitely scored a goal.
There were 2 Tottenham points in the gap, and then they have a goal.
I still rate him. I think he's a hell of a player.
Fair Fair enough.
Maybe I'm
but
alone in that.
Fair enough. I mean, on that team, Youngmin Son is
Youngmin
Well,
Son
sure.
is by a considerable margin their best player. I don't want to hear shit about Harry Kane. Youngmin Son is their best player.
Yeah.
he is.
Absolutely.
And it's not
He is.
close.
And
It's not
and
close.
let's bring this to an end because I don't want to talk about them.
Right. No, there's no need for that.
So,
there'll be time for that when we play.
What about Partey? Because I was sitting next to someone today that was like, he was not crazy about how Partey played today, and
I thought he played well. He misplaced, I think, one like big switch pass that he misplaced. But generally, he kind of does his thing, and he kind of does the work that I guess you don't really see on the stat sheet. And I think he does it well.
it wasn't his best.
It wasn't
his best, but you'll
he's
notice
played,
that when Willian came on for him, that was the end of that.
that was the end. That was the end of us of
Sec-
him
you
of
know,
him
and
kind
like-
of bossing the midfield.
yeah, and like
Second
that-
week in a row, we go down to 10 men.
Yeah.
Fucks me
I mean, and
right
like
off.
that speaks more to Willian maybe than Partey, but I mean, it is this. As soon as he went down, I was like, well, there's that, because I mean, like, Xhaka played very well today too, but like the two, and like once we went full attack and brought on Odegaard for Cedric, then everything kind of changed anyway. But yeah, I mean, Partey didn't like. There's been a couple games in a row where he's just like laid waste to people, and he didn't do that today. But I mean, he took up the space, and he started some plays off, and
fair play to
he's
Villa
really good
because-
at matriculating from
Yeah.
defense to attack, just like Granit Xhaka.
There-
But Partey has the defensive capabilities.
Yeah.
Go on,
There were a
Tom,
handful of times. Sorry, yeah, there were a handful of times that not just Partey, but some of our players, I saw them attempt to dribble forward, and fair play to Villa, they took the ball off of us.
Yeah.
a few
And
times.
Partey had that happen twice, and
Yeah.
I thought, man,
That
he-
usually
he-
does not happen.
yeah, he's
to him.
not
Yeah.
used to that. He is
Yeah.
not used to that because I don't
And
know.
he's got the grit as a player, but he also has the technical ability to get away in those situations usually. But they pressed us really well, and they dispossessed us in several one-on-ones. I thought that was probably, it's funny you mentioned that, I thought that was probably the best thing that Villa did on the day.
That guy
was the way
Target-
that they defended against us in the one-on-ones. And
Their left back Target normally doesn't play that well.
No.
Yeah.
And he
Matty Cash normally doesn't play that well either.
and not only was Cash
Matty Cash is decent, but he
and he
was
got
very good
forward.
today, I thought.
He hats off to him.
Yeah.
The Peaky Blinders took it to us.
Yeah, and you're right. Like you called it out in the second half that it would be a game for Aubameyang once things were still open, and then of course you bring them on and they kind of clamp down a little bit.
Right.
But like they definitely were coming at us. They were not messing around, and they came to play. But sticking with our midfield, I mean, granted, Xhaka today. There was a point in the 20th minute where they were kind of just crossing it around in our, in their attacking third, and like he gets his leg pretty much over his head
he got it way
to
up
gather the
there.
ball down, and then starts the breakout, and we go from there. And like his day, I think, just kept getting better from there. Where
I thought he was stellar today.
yeah, I mean he always seemed to be breaking up attacks, and
I liked him in the final third. He
Yeah.
had these killer balls.
Those through balls, man.
Because I've been probably his biggest detractor that I know. Like if there's somebody that hates Granit Xhaka more than me, let him stand up. But he has this fantastic vision sometimes, and he had that 3 times. And I mean, there was.
I feel
also-
like we should have scored one of those.
yeah,
At least one of those.
because especially
He did his job today.
Yeah.
Well, and that free kick that he had in the 28th minute. I mean,
Oh my
that thing-
days.
I can't. I'm
What a
still not
save from
sure.
Emmy on that
yeah,
one.
I'm not sure if it wasn't going to hit the crossbar or not, but it was starting to dip.
I think it was
And
dipping late and it was going under.
Yeah, it was. If it was going to go, it was either going to hit the crossbar or sneak in right at the corner. And
Yeah.
Martinez just got all the
He
way
got
up there.
all.
Like,
If you look
good
at
on
the
him for
slow mo,
that.
he's like 6 feet in the air.
Yeah, I
and,
mean-
and completely horizontal. What a save that was! It was a hell of a strike and an equally good save.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. The bummer about it for us is that like that's the kind of goal that like fires everyone up.
Yep.
Beyond belief. Like
Yeah.
something that
And we might go on to win
spectacular.
that.
You go on to
Right.
win
Go on to
like
win that
yes.
3-1 if we get that one in the middle of the first half. But
Can I
didn't-
pose a question to the group?
Yes.
Jack Grealish, and I know, obviously we're all Twitter addicts. I see a lot of talk of Grealish to Arsenal. I know a lot of this is probably
100% take him.
well. I guess my question
He's
is,
actually world class right now.
oh, he is. He is. I guess where I'm going with this is, he definitely owes them this season. They might win the title because they have.
They actually have a shot.
They have
got-
a fair
they got
amount
like
of
2 or
games
3
in
games in hand, right?
Yeah,
They have a shot.
and the Bin Dippers and City, they're the top three right now. It's another one of those years that no one wants it because Leicester might slip in there. But my question is,
I think Leicester's fallen off at this point.
Okay,
especially with Vardy out for a few weeks.
Right. So I guess my question is, I don't know. Would Grealish accept a move, or would he do like Vardy, where Vardy, we were all in on Vardy, and then
he viewed it as a downgrade, I think.
Yeah. Or
is Grealish a Midlands guy? He's a Midlands guy, right?
He's a Villa guy.
Yeah, he's
born and bred. He's Villa through and through.
So I mean I think
so
that
there'll be
plays
a
into
language
it.
barrier when he comes to Arsenal because we speak French, we speak English.
Understand that.
Yeah.
But no, I think there is something to that where, like, if he really believes that they're, building something and, like, this, I don't see how you look at this year and decide they're not. He might stay.
Because they're better than us right now. But is Villa going to be this good next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now?
No, but I think Villa has a chance to do what Leicester did a few years ago and sneak in and win the league if it's a year where no one wants to win it.
Or are they, but Leicester, their scouting network, holy Moses.
Very, very talented.
The Turkish guy whose name I can't even pronounce, it's got more umlauts.
Oh, Cenk Tosun?
Yeah. Oh, no.
You're talking about their scout?
No, the center back.
Soyuncu.
Oh, yeah.
Soyuncu,
Soyuncu.
I'm sure there's someone that can speak Turkish better than I. Yeah.
So I think it's more like Soyuncu.
Yeah. So, it's harder to pronounce than Erdogan.
Yeah.
But it's... Does Villa have that pipeline? Will they be this good 4 or 5 years from now?
I don't think they will be. Like I said, I don't think they're a long-term.
Because Ollie Watkins obviously came from Brentford.
Defense because Tyrone Mings is on a long-term deal there. I think they'll continue to have a good defense. Amy Martinez is there on a long-term deal. So I think they will continue to be tough to break down.
If they lose Grealish, they're nowhere.
Grealish is worth 9 figures.
Yeah.
And he's what makes that team go. And
he's worth 9 figures.
And there was a sequence today, 2 sequences, when he has the ball at his feet and Bellerin is, he's bodying up, he's D'ing him up, but
he just floats around you.
Because he is using another Americanism, but he's almost like Allen Iverson with that ball. Like he can do what he wants. Like you can try to D him
up. Get past
up.
anybody.
Yeah, he is. I dare say
he can get past any midfielder.
Grealish could probably have a move. Whenever the Spanish clubs have some money again, he could probably make a move over there. Mm-hmm. Why would he stay in England?
I agree that he could. He is. And if you look at I know you don't like these, but if you look at a lot of the X stats, like expected goals, expected assists, and also if you look at dribbles, carries into the box, key passes, chance creation. In most of those categories, he is 1 through 3 in the league, and he's top 5 in Europe in all those categories.
He can pretty much do everything there is to do.
Yeah, and like I said, he is actually world class right now.
But I guess the question comes down to we don't know his motivations, right?
Right. Yeah.
Given that he is a hometown guy. If he believes they have a chance, because the thing everyone hears is we want to play in the Champions League. Well, everyone wants to play in the Champions League, but wouldn't you love to win the Premier League
with your club that
you
born and raised?
Yeah, exactly. And
I would admire if he became the Totti of
Villa,
yeah.
Because no one does that anymore.
Yeah.
No one does that anymore. So to see a guy come up with that club.
Gerrard was the last guy in the league.
Yeah.
Right. I was hoping my son would do that with Arsenal, and then now
he's not gone yet. He's only on loan. Come on now.
He's on a 3-year loan at this point.
If Jack Wilshere comes back to Arsenal, oh my days, it'll never happen.
I don't know if I would take him. I don't know if I would want him to do so.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Mainsley. This is your OG son.
This is
Okay. So before I hooked up,
Joe Willock just scored a goal.
Did he really?
Yep.
Rob of the Oak.
Rob Van Der Eyck.
Van der Eyck.
I feel like I should
Joe
text
Willock
him
just
right
scored a goal for Newcastle.
Oh my goodness!
I'm gonna
I
hop
thought
on the
this would
Slack.
happen. It's
and I'm
because
gonna
they
tell him
it's 'cause they
literally
give him a
right
freer
now.
role than we'd been giving him. They're like, listen, just run and use your energy and make things happen.
All right, let's find Rob here.
And also, let's stop dick diving on Jack Grealish because anyone can do that.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting question.
Let's
though.
talk about Soares, man. Cedric Soares looking like a 1950s fighter pilot.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and just say he's trash.
He's not trash.
He had a
terrible
very
game today.
trash game. He had
a terrible game.
I don't know.
But if we're gonna bin off, if we're gonna bin off people like Mainsley and Willock,
we didn't sell them.
Right.
We want them to get first team football.
Yeah.
So
We binned
in this
Mustafi.
league.
We binned Socrates because they were contracts
Yeah, those were
that we're not
bin
paying
bins.
out. But and like
he was
honestly,
good going forward, but I thought
no, defensively he was a mess.
and it was the goal is on him tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean that back pass.
I bet he got on that bus or that airplane, and then like people like he's probably got
an entire like minesweeper situation around him. No one is up in
there's it's kind of like if there's a homeless dude that shit on himself and got on a bus, he's got like 8
cone
rows
of protection.
He's got 8 rows of seats.
Yeah.
Like nobody wants to sit with him. No one wants to sit. I wouldn't want to sit with him on.
And like I think he
principle.
probably wants to be with his thoughts too, because I think the dude doesn't seem like an idiot. I think he knows that he had a terrible game.
He's actually an excellent trainer. Like he trains better than most players. That is like that has always been the opinion about him, and the amount of effort and work he puts into his game. He won't be happy with himself.
No,
and also we're gonna need him because
Tierney is nowhere near ready to come back.
Because if he goes down, Saka comes.
We bend Kolasinac, which is what we should have done.
Yeah, that's the correct move, but now we're short on
technically
dudes.
he's on loan, but that's a binning.
Yeah,
and I think Tom's taking a bathroom break.
It's possible.
I think he's a good player, and I've actually always rated him. I thought he was excellent when his national team, Portugal, won the Euros.
Yeah.
And I think he started and played every single game at right back in that tournament. I thought he was excellent. I think he's a good player. He just has had a couple of bad games for us, and I think he is mentally strong enough to where I think he'll fix that and be solid again.
Well, because I mean, the United game, he was kind of our runner-up to man of the match behind Luis.
He was very good.
So
he was very good in that game.
I mean, it's a bad run, and you don't like to see it, but he's also being forced into consistent service, which is probably not the plan.
Yeah. And also, he's not a natural left back,
right?
So he's playing in a position that is not his natural position, and he's wrong-footed for the role. So I think we have to, keep that in mind as well. Now, again, even so, he shouldn't have played that back pass today, but it's going to be some growing pains because we needed a left back to be a backup for Tierney. We didn't get it, and we
shipped out our one backup,
Mainsley on loan.
Yeah. Well, and Ben Kolasinac.
And Ben Kolasinac.
We are short as hell at that particular position.
We're short of left back, And as of right now, we're short. So we have Bellerin on the right, and we have Tierney on the left, and then we have Cedric Soares to back up both of them.
Yeah, at the same time.
So what happens if both of them get hurt in the same game?
Then Saka has to come.
Yeah, Saka's going to come back, or we're calling up a kid from the reserves or something. You know what I mean?
Which is not what you want. So
Jordi Osei Tutu or who?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not advocate. I'm not on the put him on a raft with Willian situation. It's just unfortunate where we've been with him lately.
Yeah, Willian can fuck right off.
Yeah, that's.
I'm so done.
We earning that explicit rating today, ladies and gentlemen. It's been one of those games. But let's
Willian
move through.
can fuck right off. I've had enough. And I've actually tried to give him a chance, and it's shocking how monumentally bad this man has been in an Arsenal shirt, and the level he was at last year.
We're talking about Willian.
Yes.
In West London last year, the level of quality, the drop off in quality, I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like this.
That's a great
from
point.
One year to another.
The drop off. That's not discussed enough. Like we all know he's trash, or
he's played like trash. But there's a player in there. There's
but you
skill
look at
in
it.
there.
Yeah, you look at his YouTube sequences.
Right.
He's a player.
But the drop off, man, it's like
he does not.
There's something. I feel like there's something fishy. Like I don't know what's going on, but I've never seen that type of drop off.
He can't dribble. He can't pass. Yeah. He can't score. This man can't play the game of football.
He is a bona fide scrub. And while we're on the subject, let's talk about the substitutions. You called it about 2 minutes before it happened. It was an Aubameyang game.
Has to come in.
And he's got to come in.
Type of game.
And I don't think Lacazette played poorly, but I think Auba was more suited to this type of game. So we like that sub. And then you get about 5-6 minutes later, Odegaard comes on for Cedric. And we're all sitting here going, all right, we are saying we are going to score some goals up in here. We're going to win this game. This is everybody going forward. We'll just figure out the back if they get there. Let's go score. And we're all like, all right.
Then 9 minutes later.
And I don't think it would have happened if Partey hadn't taken that knock.
Right.
I don't know what it was. Like it looked like a just a muscle thing, maybe.
I think because
Sure, we had someone else on the bench that could have come in. I mean, William.
I mean, Will was advocating for Martinelli.
Yes, Martinelli. Yeah.
I mean, yes, but like at that might have been too much attack and no defense at that point.
Yeah, stop gambling. I honestly think every time William steps in, that it is a spite move. It's kind of like, imagine you buy an ugly jacket and you go to a party and people are like, man, that jacket is fucked up. And you're like,
keep
man,
wearing it just to say
I owned that jacket.
William is that ugly jacket. You're like, man, I spent $1,000 on this motherfucker.
I'm wearing this bitch. I don't give a fuck what everybody
and that
else
is
says.
William.
Yeah.
It is he keeps coming in and we saw it today. He comes in and he has a couple of positive moves, but overall he's not going to win a game for us.
Well, and people are refusing to pass to him. Like he is the
We
open
ran
outlet.
Xhaka,
And
who was our
Xhaka
best
is like,
passer on the day.
nah.
He did not. He was avoiding it at all costs.
And I would like
I felt
to
like
think
it looked like he felt that's where his passes would go.
I would like
die.
to think that Arteta and everyone else saw that and said the
we gotta
players
do
are
something
voting.
about this.
Yeah. So let's
Yeah.
this dead horse has been beaten.
It has. But I guess the relevant question is, we have to hope that Partey has not re-aggravated the situation that kept him out for so long.
I mean, I don't even know.
I'm literally
was
gonna pray to
was-
God about that.
Yeah.
Was Ceballos available today? I don't even
can't-
know. Because when I saw Partey go down, I was like, bring in Danny Ceballos, because Ceballos, this is the type of game that
He could have made a difference.
because he's a positive player, but it just to bring in William is they could have brought in Martinelli. They could have brought in anybody.
I mean, you heard the whole bar be like, "No, what are you doing?" It was just one of those things.
No.
All right, let me see. So I'm pulling up the lineup. I should have had this ready to go. So let's see. Ceballos and El Neni were both available.
Ceballos should have played.
And Martinelli, if you wanted to go balls out. I think Ceballos would have been the much smarter sub at that point.
I think this was,
if nothing else, but for the optics, because everyone knows what Willian is and has been.
Honestly, when Partey came out, we could have put in Callum Chambers. He can play that position, and I think he does it fairly well.
Well, considering we'd already sacrificed a defenseman to bring on Odegaard.
Defenseman, what is this, hockey?
I know. I don't know what you're upset about.
Okay, whatever.
We're talking about hockey.
Defenseman. It's like every time Van Der Eyck says goalie, I die a little inside.
Yeah, it's these Americanisms that they call them goalies and
goalies, goaltenders in hockey.
Okay, well, crapping on my vernacular as you may be, that we had already brought Cedric off for an attacker.
Say hella. Come on, Bay Area
Not
boy.
doing it.
Say hella.
You're not wrong. Bringing in Chambers, that would have rebalanced the team a little bit, I think, and would have been a better move.
I mean, I
than
haven't
bringing
seen
on
him play
Willian
for
because
us in a while,
that
but-
stifled the attack.
10 out of 10 people post.
Anything like literally every other the Ruderson would have been better in the outfield.
If this had been a family
Ruderson
feud,
probably
if this had been a
scored a
family
goal.
feud, and they said players you'd rather see come in than Willian, we asked 100 players. Or 100, who would you rather see win?
El Nini, a traffic cone,
Mesut
a
Ozil.
street lamp.
Survey says ting. Yes,
yeah,
Mesut
yeah,
Ozil.
yes.
We would have Andre Dos Santos,
fucking
wherever his ass
Nilsson. Yaya Sanogo, all of these players. I would
Johan
rather see
Juru.
than- Johan
Pascal
Joel Campbell.
Sigan.
Let's give Joel Campbell another run.
Friggin', oh my God, bro. Kevin Kallstrom.
Yeah.
I looked up Joel Campbell the other day on Wikipedia, and I couldn't even pronounce
I
it.
actually like Joel Campbell.
The club that the last club he played for, I couldn't even pronounce their name. It sounded like some shit from Star Wars.
Mexico, I think in Mexican League.
I don't even know.
Liga MX.
It's
Liga Bancomer.
How about
Yeah,
how
there
do
you
we feel about Gabriel today? Because obviously he was
Center back
unlucky.
Gabriel?
Yeah.
I thought he played well. I thought he was not at fault for the goal, and he generally played well enough to hold a clean sheet.
do we think
if Newcastle just scored again? Wow.
if David
Almiron
Luiz-
scored, I need
Mr.
to play
Burns.
the lottery today.
My lord.
This dude never scores. He scored like 2 in the last 3 games, something like that.
he has eyebrows that look
He
like a
hadn't scored in,
mustache is doing a
17
U-turn.
games. He came from the MLS,
Atlanta United.
Yeah.
Right after they won the league.
There was some loose whispers that we were looking at him.
My buddy Mike, who is a good friend of mine, was groomsman at my wedding, known him since high school. We
went to dinner last night.
Yeah, he went to dinner last night. He lives in Atlanta and is a big Atlanta United fan. He wasn't particularly happy when that happened.
They lost Elmer.
Yeah, because he was so important to that side. But
Ultimately, the MLS is either a retirement league or a feeder club.
I mean, for now, I think it's got a future. But in any
it's got a
case,
future, but I might be 45 to 50 before that kind of pans out.
all right. Well, careful. We're all getting old. That is not that far away.
I'm pushing. I'm on the wrong side of 40.
I'm getting there.
So yeah, Gabriel.
I thought he was good. I thought he played good enough to keep a clean sheet today.
I guess I wonder because our people obviously we appealed and it didn't happen. If David Luiz had been out there, would this have been a different?
No, that doesn't make a difference.
I think the pairing is Gabriel and Holding. I think
absolutely. This is our optimal defensive pairing.
Holding was Paolo Maldini today.
Yeah.
Holdinho.
Yeah, he was prime Cannavaro.
Ronaldinho.
Yeah, no, I think Gabriel. There's just a little rust. I think it's just a matter of getting back into the flow, like because he was still positioned
and he still played
well.
good enough to have cut the clean sheet. The goal was a fluke.
Yeah, well, and like that. Yeah, I put the goal on him, and he had a lot of good like on like high crosses in. Like he had good headers to clear things out, and like he actually
he's a unit.
Right, he was one of our more useful dudes on set pieces because we got nobody that big right now.
Right.
So like
I was happy to see that on some corners. I was definitely watching to see who's their tallest player.
Yeah,
Mings, and we're going to put Bellerin on him again.
Right,
because
him and Gabriel actually had a couple of battles where they were both going after the same ball, and it was clear they match up really well together. You know.
Yeah, but I think.
Could you imagine a center back pairing of Mings and Gabriel? We would let in 5 goals all year.
that's just beef.
Yeah,
clogging up the middle.
Just 2 brick shit houses in there.
Yeah.
And one of them, Gabriel, is kind of good with the ball. He's left-footed. You know, he'll run upfield. You know,
I was actually shocked when Mings went to Villa because Mings is a player I thought for damn sure that somebody like City would get him.
Six.
Yeah, so to go to Villa, I mean, fair play to Villa.
Yeah, no, I mean
they're building
moves.
something. Yeah. That much is clear.
And to swing back around on Grealish, like I think if he's either involved in that in some way or, is being consulted on things or at least being made aware, hey man, we're working on stuff here, like that I think might keep him around.
Yeah, I mean, Mings plays well for England as well. He's not just a club guy.
But can I reiterate that Matt Ryan, I thought, was probably our best player today?
Oh, man of the match, 100%.
And throughout the game, just save after save. I think Will was counting his saves, and he said, well, at one point he turned to me with like 10 minutes ago and said, I think that's his 9th save.
Yeah, and none of them were easy. No. I mean, there were a lot of reaction plays, a lot of aerial saves.
Yeah. He's quite a good shot stopper, just an instinctive, natural shot stopper.
Ollie Holt put 1 or 2 right at him.
Ollie Watkins, you mean?
Sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was terrified. I was terrified that Alex was going to play. So to get Matt Ryan there, it was a relief.
That was
Yeah, and I mean, and he
deserved a clean sheet today. He deserved to have kept the clean sheet.
The goal is 100% not on him.
Yeah, and on Cedric.
Yeah, but I don't know what we didn't see a lot of like his distribution or any of that, but in a pure shot stopper way.
Yeah.
I mean, he is right up there, and to come basically out. I mean, like I said, he was declared fit yesterday, I think, and so like he's probably been in light training for a while, and to come out of that and just have constant barrage at you, and to all the difficult ones that were straight at you to save him. I mean, you can't really ask for more from a keeper. Is it getting even crazier?
Yeah, Mito just scored a worldie. For Southampton,
and he just joined them. Yeah,
that's how he gets back to Liverpool.
That's how he gets to Liverpool. You got to play for Southampton before you play for Liverpool. Look at this finish. He has absolutely.
For those of you watching on News Channel 8, he pretty much just took something out of nothing and chipped it straight over the keeper.
How well do we think that Bukayo Saka played today?
I thought he was about an 8 out of 10.
Considering they were just beating the crap out of him at every given turn.
Like that was
their strategy. Their strategy was to go at Saka and knock him down and be physical with him and get away with it.
Typical Novan CU.
Yeah.
Right. And, some of them should have been, called when they weren't.
It worked. It works.
But it works.
It worked.
Right.
And they kept everybody on the pitch. I think they're like, we'll take fouls, we'll take yellows, as long as we keep everybody on the pitch.
Yeah, how about that? They did that quote
it sucks
unquote
to see
yellow
you don't
card.
Want to see that, but
that yellow card early doors.
Yeah.
And
the ref was fucking tragic today, by the way.
I mean, nothing compares to Tuesday, but it was. I mean, that was that was more contact and just everything more than what got WWE sent off, and it was just allowed to slide. So as always, the consistency with the refereeing is an issue.
Speaking of Southampton, their yellow card for Bednarek got rescinded.
With a red card, yeah.
There was a red card rather for Bednarek got rescinded.
And ours did not. So there you go.
I'm floored. There's no explanation. Like to me, it's just such a clear bias against Arsenal.
Yeah,
I think it's like leftover from the Wenger days.
We're preaching to the converted,
Yeah, I mean, it is funny because I was starting the notes for today's podcast, and I was like, oh, I'll mention that we're going to get to Tuesday, but honestly, like everything that could be said about Tuesday has been said.
How about Bellerin? How do we think Bellerin played today? I thought he was great.
I thought he was very, very good.
I wish he did a lot more of the. He does his thing. Sorry to cut you off there. Okay. He does his thing where that Barcelona DNA takes over, and
where he finds himself going right up the
and
center
he becomes a number 10.
Yep.
And he is as good a right back as there is in the league
at doing that. Absolutely.
Right.
Kyle Walker's not.
Yeah,
playing
and I don't want to hear about Trent Alexander-Arnold, but.
Yeah, I mean he's a wing merchant. That's
because
he's good at that.
He had a great left-footed shot. I mean, he didn't hit it as hard, and I guarantee, like he's probably on the bus right now, fuming about like, man, I should put some more.
And also, he's hitting against a player that he's hit a lot of those at in training.
Yeah,
right.
Like near the end, Martinez. Like I think we'll call that out. He's like he knew exactly where he was getting ready to go.
Yep.
And any other keeper that hadn't seen that shot 1,000 times, might not have a shot at that. But. Yeah, it was one of those games where, there were times where it felt like we could have taken it at the goal and we didn't.
Yeah. If you're Arteta on the bus home, I'm assuming it's a bus. It could be an airplane. I mean, it's funny because we're sponsored by Fly Emirates, but somehow I feel like we're still on the bus.
I mean, you don't get on a bus from Birmingham down to London. It does not seem that terrible.
No,
like that seems like more trouble to get to the airport than it's worth.
I mean, airport they fly private.
I don't know. I mean, you gotta cram in a bus anyway, get to the airport, get on a plane.
You still have to leave from an airport,
right? Then you got to fly back
even
to.
If you fly private, you're leaving from an airport.
And then even if you land at London City, then you got to get in your car and go back to. I mean, at that point,
right? Yeah, they're on the bus. I'm on
like Newcastle. Yes, give me a plane.
I'm on the bus. I'm sitting next to Bellerin. I'm like, oh my days, how many bags do you have, son?
He's like, these three are just hair products.
Yeah, exactly. When I sit next to Kieran, he's just got like a
Tesco bag,
a 6-pack, and then it's got a 6-pack in it, and like we're just gonna drink all the way home, and then stay up until the sun.
That's how you stay warm.
So that all right. If we had Kieran Tierney today, entirely different result for
Absolutely.
me.
I think we at least it's at worst a 0-0 draw, and maybe we go on to win it.
Because number one, Tierney does not make the mistake that Cedric
does
did.
not make that mistake.
And I think Tierney, because I mean
he takes the ball and kicks it through the nearest person.
Right, and like you had Pepe kind of taking he was demanding attention and taking the lid off of things, but like Tierney does that as well, and so they'd have even more to worry about going forward. I think we would have had a much more open chance.
And please, anyone
it's
listening
crazy how important he is already to us.
If there's anyone that has a song idea for Kieran Tierney, because anything that ends in E, Tierney, there has to be a song for him. I'm shocked that there's not, because a lot of the players show up with songs.
I feel like we need a sea shanty for Kieran Tierney. That seems like the zeitgeist that is going to come together.
For a guy that, if he were a whale hunter in the Arctic North.
And tea and rum.
The Tierney man come. I think we can make this work.
The Tierney man come.
I think we can actually make this.
Oh, hey, the Tierney men come to bring us sugar and tea and
Joey's,
we'll work on it. We'll work on that. I think that's our homework for next week. But
let's do it.
So,
let's. Me boys, pump or dry, down to hell, up into the sky. Bend your back and
I don't think Tierney needs to be pumping people at the moment.
It's about removing water from the lower decks.
I'm sure that's what it's about. Yes, I know that's what it's about. That's not what we want it to be about, and yet it is. So anyway, I mean, we end the day pretty much where we started, hanging on the 10th place. Although you look at the table and all the teams behind us have games in hand.
Yeah, everybody has 17 games in hand on us.
1, 2, 3, 12, whatever
it's
you're looking
shocking.
at.
There are a lot of Arsenal fans out there that are just kind of going, what does it matter at this point? We're out of FA, but
put our eggs in the Europa League basket.
But no one wants to win this. You look at who's in the top 4. It is we need, because
if United win this league with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think that'll say more about the league, because that man is not a championship manager.
Yes,
he will. He's got a chance to fall into it,
and he's got Paul Pogba, who is such a good player.
Not a lot of people can touch him on his day.
Yeah, when Pogba is up for it, And it also, I don't know.
He can do it all.
I'm looking at this flag up here that always bothers me, man. That always
Let's not even talk about that thing.
You know, that bucktooth dude. Like when we played them and he went down, and when Holding put in a tackle on him.
Yeah.
And then
like looked him down like he was stepping over
like,
Ty Lue.
And Squirrel Teeth gets up like, where's my penalty? I was promised a penalty. I get a penalty per game. This is Man United where we get, a fucking month added time and
score after the whistle's blown.
So anyway, if you're Arteta on the bus home right now, top 3 lessons from this game, what do we do going forward? If let's say for instance, if this were Southampton, right, where we play them in the cup and we got a league cup. We play them in the cup. We have a league game coming up. If we were to play Villa next game, top 3 things you're going to tell them.
Make sure Tierney's fit.
I think you
sign
are
sign Grealish for our side. Yeah.
I think they would be more prepared for the physicality, having had it done to them already. I don't think that's the thing you tell to them, but like I don't know if they expected to get bruised around so much.
Okay.
I think like being ready for that, would help a little bit.
I think for me, I would say stop trying for the aerial ball.
Yeah. That's just in general.
Yeah, because
we don't have the personnel to convert off of those right now.
When we lump it in, it's going to be no one or Lacazette. And Lacazette is what, 5'9"?
Yeah, he is not big enough to convert.
And he's not 5'9" like Cannavaro. That like Cannavaro would elevate, but
he could jump. He had a 40-inch vertical leap.
Yeah. So I guess for me it would be stop hoofing it in.
Stop hoofing it in. I agree with that. I would say focus more on transitional play, getting the ball from defense to attack.
Right.
Focus on those things.
That's how we're going to score,
And don't go away from crossing and look for through balls and look for runners to get in behind the defense with the through balls.
Right, because you look at that play that we talked about in the first half early on where Lacazette had the ball and Pepe was in position to receive it through ball, and Laka just kind of hesitated and didn't get it through to him.
Acres of space.
And I think for me...
Or kilometers, as they would say.
For me, hectares. For me, I think that starting Martinelli next game, because we've talked about this so many times, but like as much as Emile Smith-Rowe and Saka have been our engine, Martinelli, for some reason, when he's out there, everyone just plays a little faster.
He brings
and with a little more energy. And I think you get him out there, number one, everyone knows he has the speed, and so they have to honor that, and it makes room for the through balls. And also, his
pressing game.
Yeah, I mean, he just opens things up for everybody. For me, that's the lesson: is start Martinelli.
Yeah,
sure. I felt like we pressed today, but we didn't press as hard as we should, and
we didn't gegenpressen.
And Pepe was excellent going forward, but I think there were a handful of chances on the other end that he doesn't D up. He makes an effort. He'll run back, but you rarely see him head a ball away or kick.
But I mean, do you want him doing that? Like,
yes, because look at Martinelli, man. When he had that diving header the other day, and you're going, this is a kid that he's going to play himself right into the Real Madrid first team.
But at the same time, like I think there is value in having a couple of guys. I mean, like he's gone now, but like dudes who do the Ozil thing, where they know their role, they have what they do, and when they're allowed to focus on that, they flourish. Like not everybody. I think Martinelli is going to put that effort out, and he is that, and like good on him, But like I don't think that we necessarily need every guy to be on like a max effort forward and backwards.
I think on this Arsenal team, man, everyone has to do everything. Guys. Like there's no such thing as I don't do windows or I don't do that. Like everyone needs, because you look at Willian. Willian wants the ball served on a platter in the final third. At this point, I don't know. Willian just wants a paycheck now.
I don't know what
the hell his motivations or his uses or his needs are. Like he just looks lost.
He's about as useful as a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest.
Yeah, he is. And I apologize. I shouldn't bring him up.
But no, I mean, like,
I'm gonna like.
You're not
it's
wrong.
Triggering, actually,
that we don't have. So we don't have the luxury of having guys that can only do one thing. You're right.
That is my point. Is I hear that, I see that on Twitter when they go, he's not that kind of a player, and I'm going. And it's not that kind of an Arsenal.
Fucking try to be.
It's not that kind of an Arsenal anymore. You look at Madrid or Barcelona where they go, yeah, sure, Messi doesn't have to come back, or there's certain teams that you can afford that, because for every
Madrid and Barcelona aren't winning Champions Leagues anymore.
Yeah,
your Liverpools are winning Champions Leagues. They play with basically So they play with like 2 8s and a 6 in their midfield. When they have all the prime, their prime lineup together, they play with Henderson and Wijnaldum as their 8s, and they play with Fabinho as their 6. And Bayern Munich, they have players like Goretzka, like
the unsung heroes.
The
water carriers.
Those types of players
that
can kind of do it all. Yeah, Goretzka's a unit. Players like that or in that mold. Midfields are different, and this is part of why we say. And I know we're going to wrap up here soon, but this is part of why the general consensus is that the traditional number 10 style player has died, because you could have a number you could have a if I try to think of a traditional number 10, somebody like Wesley Sneijder, right? Or you can have Kevin De Bruyne that can do everything that Wesley Sneijder can do, but does his defensive work as well.
Right. Yeah, it's because similarly, you brought up a great point a few months ago about I always liked Claude Makelele, what they call the Makelele role.
The Makelele role.
Which is essentially...
Sounds like a sushi.
Oh, my goodness.
The Makelele roll. It's got some blue.
Keep playing it.
It's blue and white.
Yellowfin, and it's got some roe on the top. Yeah,
and be generous with the horseradish.
Yes.
But that's like a real true 6.
Because
they're at the base of the midfield. At the base of the midfield there.
And to your point, we don't see as many traditional 10s. We don't see as many traditional defensive midfielders. Everyone is expected to do everything.
Everyone's an 8 now. And they're players like Kevin De Bruyne, like Paul Pogba, like players like that. You know what I mean? Tony Kroos.
Michael Cox,
like that.
in his book Zonal Marking, and I rarely read books, but he had this great excerpt. Zidane said when he was Juventus, he said, I was expected to play number 10, but they also expected me to track back. And then when he got to Madrid, they said, stay in the final
Just
third.
Stay there. We'll get it to you.
We'll get you the ball. Don't think about coming back. And I think a lot of players, that's what they want. Because imagine, it's almost like being a rock star. It's like you don't tune your own guitars. I'm doing coke.
You have a tech for that.
And I think some of our players may still have that in mind. Like, oh, well, I'm at Arsenal. I'm in London. And you want to go, it is Arsenal, it is London, but we are in 10th place, Arsenal, and at this moment you have to do windows.
Yeah, you got to do it all.
Well, and I think what was done to the squad in the window, and the changes made and the message sent, I think that probably
clear out.
It is clearly that is not how we do things anymore.
Yeah.
If anyone hasn't gotten the message, they're gonna get it quickly.
Yep.
Because to your point, like
even Pepe's been doing his defensive work the last.
Yeah, I mean he was not as aggressive as maybe we'd want to see him, but
Pepe's been excellent.
He's been in great form.
I'm not gonna say Arsenal fans, but there are people that are fans of other teams that have been lording it over us, man. Like, y'all spent $72 million on Pepe.
It doesn't even bother me because I think he's worth it, and I think he will.
Yes,
eventually be the best
teams have
player
spent
on our
more
team.
for less. Like, let's not,
Pepe is a good player.
Man United fans, after they spent $80 million on Harry Maguire or whatever it was that they spent on him.
They spent 80.
Talking to us about $72 million for Pepe.
Man United,
get out of here.
If you Google search throwing money at a problem, it's Man United.
Yeah, and also then thus inflating the transfer cost for everybody else.
Yeah,
like hey, maybe stop doing this insane shit.
They
try to fix the team and also breaking how the league works.
Wan Bissaka.
Yeah.
So even now they're still talking about, well, our problem is we just got to get the right players in. Like, man, you got Van der Beek from Ajax.
Yeah.
You have such a largesse, so your bench once again, like their bench could probably come and finish top half of the table.
And yet somehow they need more.
Yeah. All right, time to wrap it up.
It is time to wrap it up.
You've said it all.
Speaking of more, we will be back for more Arsenal on Sunday, home to Leeds, 11:30 a.m. Eastern start. No midweek game this week.
Yeah.
Everybody could use the rest.
Yeah.
I
just hope we get a win against Leeds.
I mean, we got to get a win against somebody. It might as well be them.
Yeah, exactly.
So, hopefully Martinelli starts.
In good form.
Hopefully everybody's kind of feeling a little bit more, and maybe that home cooking helps out. But until then, I am Ryan. This is Tom.
All right, y'all.
That is Joey.
Back on top.
And hopefully we will see you all at Gus's Bar and Grill next weekend for the Leeds game. Have a good one, everybody.